evening. It's 6 o'clock on Thursday, December 8th, 2016. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. Young people from the Democratic Party's Youth Forum protested today, December 8th, Albania's Youth Day. The protesters asked for the government to be removed. The Democratic Youth Forum organized 5 protests on Albania's Youth Day, and groups of the Democratic Party's Youth Forum from all around the country protested simultaneously outside 4 state institutions. Later, they gathered outside the Prime Minister's office before marching to Student City. At 11 o'clock, a group of young people gathered outside the Ministry of Education in protest of the higher education reform. Another group of young people protested outside the Ministry of Health against corruption and concessions in the health sector. Another group of young people assembled outside the Ministry of Interior to protest the drug situation, and a final group protested outside Tirana City Hall against the death of a 17-year-old boy at Shara landfill. At 12 o'clock, after these protests, all the youth gathered outside the Prime Minister's office, where the chairman of Democratic Youth Forum called for the removal of this government, saying, "We are against Edi Rama's policies. University fees have increased. The reform on higher education has violated rights, merits, and preferences of the youth. Our mission is to guarantee citizen votes. Edi Rama, the youth do not want you. You are the past. We are the future. With Lulzum Basha, we will make Albania like Europe," he said. The protest was peaceful, and there was no need for police reinforcement. The young people then regrouped and marched towards Student City, following the same itinerary the students of 1991 followed. Today, on Albania's Youth Day, the Democratic Party chairman, Lulzum Basha, held a meeting with young people from the DP Youth Forum at Student City in Tirana. During his speech, the DP chairman declared that the youth protests aim to return freedom by strengthening democracy. "I call on youth to rise against injustice, corruption, and organized crime. Do not leave the country. Stay here and let's fight together. Albania is yours. The Democratic Party, I and your allies, will be by your side. We are the party that will return hope to the Albanian people. This is not a battle only to bring the Democratic Party into power, but to return hope to Albanians. Today, we do not have democracy, but an autocracy. The state is in the hands of the Prime Minister and a small group of people. We refuse to be slaves of an autocracy that stands dressed like a democracy," declared the DP chairman. He went on to say 35% of the future Democratic Party's parliamentary group will be chosen by the youth and will be young people elected for their capabilities. Mr. Basha added that the youth is the biggest force that can fight for freedom. The President of the Republic was invited to our program Tonight Ilva Tare, where he revealed the alarming amount of money from cannabis that circulates in Albania. I called the Council of National Security concerning the cannabis issue. The information coming in the presidential office shows that there is €2 billion in circulation from narcotics trafficking. This is official information from the Albanian state. This is black economy. If anyone thinks this is not something to be alarmed about, I think it is. Our state budget is $5 billion, declared the president. During the interview, the president revealed his ambition for a second mandate. "I became president with the support of the Democratic Party and the Socialist Movement for Integration. Being convinced that I have served the interest of the citizens during my mandate, I have expressed my readiness for a second mandate if the parliamentary majority decides so. The parliament members will make the decision," Nishani said. Regarding the vetting law, the president declared that the Constitutional Court has sent 2 variations of the translated law. The president declared that if the first translated version was correct, the second version would not have been sent. According to the president, those responsible for the situation should be found. 6 countries of the Balkans will have a joint office for the youth. A regional youth cooperation office headquartered in Tirana was inaugurated today in the presence of Albania's Prime Minister Rama and the region's ministers of youth. The Prime Minister considers the cooperation to be important for the agenda of EU integration. Today, we are concluding a process that started some time ago in the light of the Berlin process. As an initiative of Chancellor Merkel, we are bringing together high-ranking dignitaries of the region to give life to a new and an overall commitment and add a new feature to the pact in the region. This commitment included establishing this office on the premise of the inspiring model of the French-German youth cooperation, which played an important role in unifying and establishing interaction between their two countries after World War II. I want to express my gratitude to our German and French friends who have generously shared their expertise and have assisted the Ministry of Social Welfare and Youth and other relevant institutions here and in the region with this initiative. This region has been considered the powder keg of Europe for so long, but today we live in a different time, with peace prevailing, though there are still certain disagreements with which we have with each other. Nonetheless, these initiatives are worth the effort to promote peace and harmony, keeping us on course for the EU, and we aspire to see you once we get there, Rama said. The Serbian Minister of Youth expressed Serbia's commitment to cooperate with the regional countries, declaring that regional cooperation is important for the integration. The Vice Minister of Kosovo deems the office a solution to past issues, but added concern that the Kosovar youth continue to be isolated. The French-German youth representative declared that the ability for this office to function depends on the willingness of the political parties. The Minister of Agriculture was in Berat today, where he held a meeting with farmers and producers to discuss problems related to agricultural production. The discussion was focused on how the farmers can extend their activity and increase their profits by taking advantage of the government's grants and subventions. The agricultural sector needs some €50 million more than the predicted budget. This can be achieved through low-interest loans. There is also the EU fund of €91 million, which will be distributed in the form of grants. The farmers need help for their projects, the minister said. Concerning the cattle affected by nodular dermatitis, he said they will be vaccinated over the next 2 weeks. The vaccination of cattle continues. The affected cattle are being treated, and the compensation process will be made later, declared the minister, adding that the number of cattle which have died from nodular dermatitis in Berat has reached 17. In what the Minister of Environment called the best cooperation model between local and central governments, the city of Permet and the Ministry of Environment invested 10 million lek into the National Reforestation Campaign. During today's inspection, the minister expressed his gratitude for the excellent cooperation of Permet's mayor, saying, "Today we are about to conclude the project invested in by the Ministry of Environment in cooperation with Permet City Hall for reforestation. My gratitude to the mayor. He is the best model of cooperation between the local government and the central government," said the minister. Permet's mayor asked for funding to implement the second phase of the project for public greenery, which includes planting 1,000 roses. The project is expected to conclude by the end of the month. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Mari, and on behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.